Not just that you are standing before God guiltless without condemnation. Do you know that some believers have not yet grasped that? Some don't even believe it's true. That you are forever blameless, unblameable, and holy before Him. Some believers are struggling to even believe this. Talk more of now telling them that they are the masters of Satan and demons. And let me tell you this. Listen, do you know that these two things I just said is not all there is about the truth of your being made the righteousness of God in Christ? Are you aware? This is just a beginning point. That's what I used to say. So people say, go deeper, sir. Go deeper. Go deeper. We are still in this basic stuff, these basic things. You have not yet come to a point where you are sure to some extent, greater extent. That I know, I totally know. It has to do with demonic situation. It's not an issue. You are not yet sure. You are still struggling with believing that you are before God blameless and perfect, unreprovable without sin. The Father is not seeing you and is about to judge you. You are still struggling with that. And you say we should go deeper. Go deep where? Where are we going? Remember yesterday we also said, right? Remember yesterday we also said that the readiness to receive the revelations of God is not dependent on, it's not just God saying this person is not ready, so let's not give him this thing. No. Your readiness, remember we said yesterday that your readiness is dependent on your heart gateway. You remember? And we also said that a spiritual thing can be communicated to an individual, but how we will receive it will be based on the spiritual level. I remember I gave an illustration. I said that's why certain times some believers hear some certain things, right? They hear it. In a meeting like this, very anointed, powerful teaching is going on. They get it, but they don't understand. They didn't enter it, but they had it. And years later, having understood certain things, a time now comes where maybe they hear it again, or they revisit their notes, right? And they now grasp it, appreciate it more, and now understand it better, and begin to experience it. What's changed? Was it God now that caused you to understand it? Yes, there's a part he played, but it is actually your heart now. Having been exercised in certain things, what has happened? It has come to now know this one. Remember, that's why I said how God revealed Moses, how God showed Moses his back. You remember? In the book of Exodus 33, right? For us, the processes of understanding spiritual things, or the processes of encountering spiritual things. Did you notice what God told him? God says, I will first of all what? Put you in a cleft of the rock. And I will what? Cover you with my hand. Right? My hand. And when I pass by, so that when I pass by, you will see my feet. Remember what we said about that? That's actually, you see, the covering with his hand, putting him at a cleft of the rock, covering with his hand, captures what? The phases of spiritual encounter. Those things are spiritual, not literal. What God is saying is that before you will see my back, there are certain places in me that you need to see. That means before you experience seeing my back, are we together? You must have what? Come to experience that part of me that is standing in this cleft of the rock. That part of me that is my right hand covering you. So it's not literal right hand. It is what we call preparation or preparation encounters for a spiritual encounter. You know that no matter how intelligent a child is, even though he can solve the math, that master students, people are reading mathematics and want to have a master's degree in math, right? Even though he can study it at the age of 10, I mean, he can solve it. You know that if you put him in that class, he may still fail. If he did not fail, he will be passing the test, but he cannot cope with the people. He's not mature. Most of the time, sometimes going through the class is important. There are several things it will teach you. It will now serve as what? Preparation for what? For what is to come. Are you following? So, you see why engaging the heart in basic truth, or what we call truth, basic truth, right, is very important. Not only that, the same Ephesians 1:19 said what? And to know what is the exceeding what? Greatness of his power. You remember? Towards us who believe according to the working of his mighty power. What did he now say? Which he wrought in Christ when he what? Raised him from the dead. I thought they would display it. I hope these people are still awake. Which he now wrought in Christ. Put Ephesians now, my brother. Ephesians 1:19. Hello, media. Is he there? I hope he's not sleeping. All right. Let me open it here. Those online, I hope you are still following. Okay, good. And what is the exceeding greatness of his power towards us who believe according to the working of his mighty power? 20. Which he wrought in Christ when he raised him from the dead and set him at his own right hand in the what? In the heavenly places. 21. Far above all principality and power and might and dominion and every name that is named, not only in this world but also in that which is to come. Do you understand what it means when he says in that which is to come? It's not something that will come. We'll look at it later. 22. And has put all things under and gave him to be the over all things. To what? Which is his body. The fullness of him that filleth all in all. So, the seven spirits will give you revelation for these things. Through their teachings, listen, you will know how to function as a member of the church. All right, we have cracked some things open. Let's go further. Are you following? Matthew chapter 16. Quickly. Matthew 16. There's some things we still need to talk about. Matthew 16. Matthew 16 from verse 13.